Trump ruins everything, including the Olympics.
What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay? But anyway.
Yesterday, the U.S. men's hockey team won gold at the Olympic Games, and while you would think this would be such an exciting moment for us as Americans to be celebrating, the Trump administration once again swoops in and ruins everything. The problem is not the men winning the Olympic gold medal. The problem is the FBI director spending $75,000 of our taxpayer money to fly there for one event.
I just want to repeat that number, $75,000 for him to attend one event when shouldn't he be doing other things? Like, aren't there other, first of all, since when is the FBI director an important part of our representation at the Olympics? I don't remember any other time in history. What else? Just remind the audience, what else should he be focusing on right now?
We don't know what's going on with the Epstein files. Nobody's been arrested for that. Savannah Guthrie's mom is still missing in action. And we have these people flying across the world as if they're a rock star to chug beers and champagne in a locker room with these men. And the problem isn't with them winning. This is a great thing to celebrate. But I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to fund this little joyride to Italy and then seeing the phone call from the President of the United States disparaging the women's win, and none of these players coming out as of Monday to say that they don't agree with this. That's where the problem is.
Yeah. It's I hate to loop it back to the Epstein files and all of that, but I feel, yes, there are a great number of men who are speaking out and amplifying the survivors and all that stuff, right? But if you look at the representation of, if we're going to do gender, men versus women, getting outraged about what is in these files that we see, it's women. And there's a lot of silence among men. And there's a lot of talk about like, why? And it's because perhaps there's elements in there that make them uncomfortable, but they're complicit in some ways in kind of turning a blind eye to this stuff. Like, I heard you were telling me that some people like, oh, well, some of the men were laughing uncomfortably, but it's like, until men really stand up, then I don't care if you're being silent. Your silence is compliance with the patriarchy and Trump's just disgusting nature, and how he disparages the women's team. It's disgusting.
We can also tie this to how he treats female reporters, right? Telling them that they're unintelligent, that they shouldn't be speaking. And we have a room full of press men that don't say anything at all. And it's the same thing with the U.S. women being treated that way, and not enough men standing up and saying, hey, this is fucked up. We don't agree with this. Or, I don't know, I've been in a room before where someone has said something wildly uncomfortable that I did not agree with, and you're not going to catch me laughing about it. You're not going to catch me posing in a picture for it and doing all of this. We know better as adults. And so this just shows these high-level athletes do not take into consideration that women in the U.S. won more medals collectively and more gold medals than men at the Olympics. So let's talk about some stats.
Let's get some stats.
We want to talk about some stats. The U.S. won 33 total medals at the Olympics. 17 of them were won by women, 12 of men. Women won 6 gold medals and men won 4. So technically, the women carried this Olympic team on their fucking backs, and they deserve fucking respect for that. Yeah. I am happy to report, though, Midas Touch, I saw this on their page earlier today, the women's U.S. the U.S. women's hockey team has rejected Trump's later invitation to the State of the Union address, and good for them. And I sincerely hope that nobody else from the Olympics decides to go and support this president.
No, it's absolutely not. He's a piece of shit human, and the fact that he's president makes it even more despicable. And like, yeah, the fact watching them laugh at that joke, that's a joke from like this man's something when he says make America great again, it's just a reminder that he means back in the 50s when it was totally acceptable to say that women belong in the kitchen and men are out there having their little dinner, will women serve them, and oh, I guess we'll include the women. Like, it's disgusting. And honestly, shame on every single fucking woman who voted for Trump and continues to support him, because maybe you don't give a shit about your self-esteem, but your daughters are watching. They're watching the president of the United States making a mockery out of the women's Olympics team.
I sincerely hope that any parent that has their daughter in sports, soccer, field hockey, volleyball, track, figure skating, gymnastics, ballet, any sport across the board, I sincerely hope that you take a look at how the dad coaches are
Yes.
reacting to things like this online, because your daughter could be in a completely unsafe environment on her own little soccer team. Because I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want my kid on a soccer team whose coach was out there on social media or in private circles even saying nasty things about the U.S. women's hockey team. If you're a parent of girls in sports, please check into the people that are around your children, because these are really unhealthy environments in general in high-level sports. I grew up in a sports family. And I just want to say, tying all of this together at the end was my joy of seeing how all of the women that competed in ladies figure skating at the Olympics, but most specifically the United States team girls, that was just something that I've never seen in my 40-something years on this planet, and very closely tied to figure skating.
It was absolutely beautiful, breathtaking. It was girlhood on ice. It was, I mean, and going back to that, like I was a track athlete from high school through college. And, the way, yes, it can be really empowering to be a professional or a semi-professional or college or high school athlete as a woman. It could really empower you with the right coaching and the right environment. It could also break you because whether it's track or figure skating, especially the kind of sports where it's individual, like even obviously team sports difficult, but when you're the one, in the race, it's just you and they're tracking you. Or if you're the one on the ice, you could get stuck with coaches. And this is both male and female coaches
Yes.
measuring your body, weighing you, critiquing your form in a way that makes you feel bad about yourself. Right. And so it's so inspiring for me. I'm not from an ice skating background like you are, but as an athlete in high school and college, seeing these women get to be themselves, not in this patriarchal format, but like just young women performing in their space. I want to hear more from you about that.
Everything about Alyssa Liu is what I think sports in general has been lacking our entire lives. Her hair was a huge topic of conversation the first week that was going on. Then they were talking about her piercing. And I think they were not talking at all about, one, her athleticism, but learning more about her training coming up to the Olympics, and how she retired from figure skating at the age of 16 because she wanted some sense of normalcy as a child. And she came back to the Olympics to do it on her terms. She skated to what she wanted to. She did her dresses the way that she wanted to. She colored her fucking hair that way and put her piercing in. And she went out there and she was shining. And she said, I'm not in a competition with other people. I'm out there to do my best for myself. Right. And to see the other Team USA girls and the other girls that were on the podium with her that won second and third place, uplifting each other, fixing each other's little bears with their medals, hugging each other and crying and supporting. This is just what women need collectively as a whole, in every sport, in every space, content creation included.
Yeah.
Girlhood is going to be what saves us all from this, because at the end of the day, most of these men are the misogynists that are cheering on the men's hockey team, when I think women in general as a whole need to come together, drop the competition aspect, and look what happens when they can just support each other openly with love and happiness and kindness. Like, that's the energy that I think women as a whole need to move forward with. They hit us up against each other since childhood, just like you said, in sports, prom queen, most popular.
Uh,
All of these things, they pit us up against each other, and the only way that we are gonna beat this type of misogyny and patriarchy is if we all come together, and I hope that is one thing that everybody takes away from the Olympics.
Me too. And I feel like I'm seeing it more and more because of social media, women supporting each other. But you and I both grew up in an age where women were always pitted against one another, whether it was in sports, Nancy Kerrigan versus Tanya Harding, whether
100%.
it was, different artists, right? Or
Christina
different
and Brittany,
Christina
right?
versus Britney. That's what I was thinking, right? And that is kind of the framework in which we grew up. When we come together, we achieve great things, and life doesn't have to be this way. And I think I'm so happy that young women, I'm sad that we had to grow up that way, but I'm so happy that young women are coming together.
Yep. I think that's something in our age where we're a little bit different, I think, than the younger generations is, I think, because we've seen so much of this and we just don't want to see that anymore. I mean,
No.
hear about the best times of girlhood are drunk in the bathroom when we're all hyping each other up and sharing, whatever with each other. And I just want to see more of that in society collectively. It's us against them, ladies.
It is.
We could take some notes from the US figure skater. I mean, all of them in general, not just the US figure skating
Yeah.
team. All of the women who competed in the Olympics. Snowboarding, I saw a lot of the same
Yeah.
type of support there. It's just gave me a different look, and it made me a little bit more proud to be American, watching how a lot of these athletes conducted themselves this time around.
Yeah. And even though our podcast is polytoxic, this was actually something that was not
All
toxic.
positive.
Paula positive, Paula not toxic, right? I mean, I would say, like, I think the landscape we're in right now, like, I know originally we set out to just, like, expose all the toxicity, but that's basically, like, the just general just existence. So I feel like that plus today, a snow day in New York City, everyone was kind of working together, navigating through the snow and enjoying it together. And I think we just need more of that because, again, the forces that be pulling the strings are benefiting from us pitting ourselves
Right,
against one another. So more of the
right.
coming together, less of the letting them divide us, and maybe we can get out of this fascist hellhole. What do you say?
In the words of our Olympic figure skating champion, Alyssa Liu, I'm going to end this episode with, "That's what I'm talking about."